Alright guys, we are going to be graphing linear equations. I'm going to show you two methods for graphing linear equations. Previously in class we have only used the method that uses the y-intercept and the slope and solve for y. But if you like doing that, then you are more than welcome to keep solving for y and graphing your equations using the slope and the y-intercept. But I'm going to show you how to graph an equation given to you in standard form as well. And if you like that method, then you are welcome to use it from here on. An equation in standard form is ax plus by is equal to c. That's an equation in standard form. And the way that we graph this is that we use the x and y intercepts to graph. So to graph, we use x and y intercepts. Okay. Slope-intercept form is the other form. And that looks like y equals mx plus b. And for this method, you use the slope, which is m, and your y-intercept, which is 0, b. Either of these methods is going to get you the same graph, and so you're welcome to use whichever one you like. So if we are given an equation in standard form, which is ax plus by is equal to c. What the benefits of having this are is that you can very easily find the x and y intercepts to the equation, and then you can use that to graph the intercepts, and you just draw the line through the intercepts and you're done with the graph. You have to be very careful though, because you've only got 2 points. So you want to make sure you use a ruler or something to make sure your line is nice and straight. So we use this, we find the x and y intercepts. So to find the x-intercept, what you do is you plug in 0 for y. The x-intercept happens where y is 0. So we plug 0 in for y, and then you solve for x. And that gives you a number. So you get a point, get x equals a number, and that's what you're looking for. That gives you the point, whatever that number is, comma 0. To find the y-intercept, you do the same thing, but instead of plugging 0 in for y, you plug it in for x. So we plug 0 in for x, and then solve for y. And you get y equals a number. And so the y-intercept is 0, comma, number. Notice that they're opposites, right? And all you do is you graph those 2 points and draw a line through it. And now is a really important time for me to remind you that a graph that is just points, just a few dots, is not a graph. That's not a line. So you didn't graph me a function if you drew a whole bunch of dots on your paper. You need to make sure that you are drawing what you're supposed to draw, that you're actually drawing a line. So, make sure that you don't just draw the dots, that you actually connect them. So for slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b, what you do is you identify slope and y-intercept. And then you plot the y-intercept. So graph the y-intercept, and then use the slope to graph other points. Use the slope to graph other points. And guys, remember that slope is your change in y over your change in x. So it's movement up or down over movement right. All right, and that's your slope. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to look at several problems, and we're going to graph them, and we're going to find the things we need to find in order to do that. So, right here, what I have is I have an equation that is in standard form. And so I am not going to solve for y. What I'm going to do is I'm going to graph this in standard form. And so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find my x-intercept. And I'm going to do that by plugging 0 in for y. So I have 2x plus 4 times 0, because I plugged 0 in for y, is equal to 12. This is 2x is equal to 12. And then we divide by 2. I get x is equal to 6. And so my x-intercept is the point 6, 0. That's my x-intercept. The next thing I'm going to find is my y-intercept. And so what I do is I plug 0 in for x. So this becomes 2 times 0 plus 4y is equal to 12. So that's just 4y is equal to 12. Divide by 4. And we get y is equal to 3. And so my y-intercept is the point 0, 3. So my x-intercept is 0, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's right here. And my y-intercept is 0, 3. It's right here. All right, guys. Now, I am dealing on a computer screen with something that I cannot use a ruler on. So my line is not going to be pretty. But I expect your lines to be pretty. I expect you to actually connect the dots using a straight edge of some sort. A ruler or a binder or a Post-it. Oh, guys, look. I am so bad at this. It's because I can't see what I'm drawing on my screen. All right, so let's try that again. Oh, that's sort of a curvy thing, but it's going to have to do. So I expect yours to be better than that, most definitely. All right, I'm going to come over here, and what I see is another line in standard form. And so instead of solving for y, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing I did here, which is find the x and y intercepts and connect them. And so in order to find the x-intercept, what I do is I plug 0 in for y. So this becomes 3x minus 9 times 0 is equal to 18. So 3x is equal to 18. Divide by 3. X is equal to 6. And so my x-intercept here as well is 6, 0. That's interesting, right? And my y-intercept, I find the same way. So I plug in 0 for x. So this is 3 times 0 minus 9y is equal to 18. So negative 9y is equal to 18. Divide by negative 9, and you get y is equal to negative 2. And so my y-intercept is 0, negative 2. All right, so x-intercept is over here at 6, and y-intercept is at negative 2 down here. And I'm going to connect them, and hopefully this time it will go a little better. A little better. Okay, there we go. Now make sure yours are nice and pretty. You're going to have rulers and you're going to be writing on graph paper, or notebook paper. You can do it. All right, moving on, we're looking at the 2/3 x plus 3. And so this is an equation in slope-intercept form, and so I'm going to graph it in slope-intercept form. And so I'm going to identify the slope, which is 2 over 3, and the y-intercept, which is 0, 3. And so the slope of 2 over 3 means up 2 and right 3. And the y-intercept is 0, 3, so I'm going to go up to 3 and draw a line. And then I'm going to go up 1, 2, and over 1, 2, 3. Up 1, 2, and over 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to go down 2 and over 1, 2, 3. Then down 2 and over 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to connect those dots. Alright, that's not even that bad. And so what I did is I went up 2 and right 3, up 2 and right 3, and then I reversed the slope to get points on the other side. Alright guys, so this is another equation that is in point slope form, and so I'm going to again graph it in point slope form. So here are my x-intercept. I'm going to plug 0 in for y, so this is 3x minus 0 is equal to negative 2. And so 3x is equal to negative 2. Divide by 3. X is equal to negative 2 over 3. Remember that fractions are our friends and sometimes food. So it's fine that the x-intercept is negative 2/3, not to freak out about that. Alright, and then I'm going to find my y-intercept. And I do that again by plugging 0 in for x. This is 3 times 0 minus y is equal to negative 2. And so that's negative y is equal to negative 2. Divide by negative 1. We get y is equal to positive 2. And so the y-intercept is 0, 2. Right, so I'm going to graph my y-intercept at 0, 2. And my x-intercept at negative 2/3. Now negative 2/3 is between 0 and negative 1. And it's closer to negative 1. You don't have to be absolutely 100% totally on negative 2/3. You can see how big these axes are, and so my point takes up most of the space between 0 and negative 1. You just want to make sure it's between 0 and negative 1, between the right numbers, and that it is, closer to whichever number it's supposed to be closer to. So negative 2/3 is closer to 1 than it is to 0, so we're going to draw it there. Now I'm going to connect these points like that. And there you go. We have graphed lines. Remember that if you still don't understand how to do this, you need to come see me. This is a skill that is not going away. Alright guys, hope to see you on the next screen, which is the types of systems of equations.